One. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, guys, boys, and non-conventionally identifies. It's your boy, Mr. Pip Dirty. And as you guys have long anticipated, we are live with the one and only Chenzho, Mr. Tekken God Prime himself. Chenzho, how you feeling tonight?
Hanging in there. Hanging in there.
That's about all we can do these days. Well, for those of us that don't know, Chenzho, why don't we open the floor for him a little bit and let him introduce himself?
Sure. I mean, as you can see right there, I'm Chenzho. I'm a Tekken player from Long Island, New York. I love Tekken. I love King, as you all know. Some of you may know. But yeah, I started broadcasting on Twitch a few months ago, and things are going really well so far.
You are pretty much the only person I know that can literally sit down and play, not only play Tekken, but play one character for pretty much the entire stream. I don't know about you guys watching the podcast, but I have like 5 characters that I play, and that might be part of the reason why it takes me forever to actually like settle into a character. But this guy will just go for like almost 7 hours with just King. And his rank, well, at least before season 4 reset, that is, definitely shows it.
I mean, I am a character loyalist through and through. I love King. I've been a fan. First of all, we got to say this too. I've been playing the Tekken series since the 90s. I may not look like it, but I'm older than you think. I started with Tekken 2 on the PlayStation. First time I ever played. Yeah. The first time I ever played a Tekken game was on the PlayStation at one of my cousin's houses. And I just was fascinated by it. But back then I had no idea what I was doing. I was just pressing buttons.
Right. Also, when King was the most broken, if I might add.
That was Tekken 1. Tekken 1 was one of his strongest iterations. He had some...
Do we really count Tekken 1, though? Nobody knew what the hell they were doing. Harada himself didn't know what he was doing in Tekken 1. He's just like, I'm just going to make a fighting game. Put this guy with a cat mask in. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that may be kind of true. But it was cool back then. I liked it. But, you know, the series has stuck with me for pretty much my entire life. And I feel like I finally found a way to bring my love for the game, my appreciation for the series. I could share that with more people now. I think it's a great thing.
Now, so since you've only been a content creator here on Twitch for a very short period of time, has it just been Tekken the whole time, or have you streamed other games on your channel?
Yeah, let me clarify. Actually, I did start my first ever Twitch broadcasting back in 2016, I think. I played a first-person shooter game that was based off of the Ghost in the Shell franchise. And that game only existed on Steam for maybe about a year and a half before they canceled the project. And I
love that game.
You played it, right?
Yes, and when they closed the servers, oh my god, I was devastated. I still have the game downloaded on my computer because I refuse to uninstall it.
Yeah, me too. I refuse to. Even if it takes up the hard drive space, I don't care. It's my memorial for it. But I was so fascinated by that game too. I played a lot of Ghost in the Shell, and I streamed that for, I would say, maybe 3 or 4 months back in 2016. I was pretty active in that community, and
we probably talked before then.
yeah, it's more than likely. Let me tell you. I mean, but back then I only gained I had about 140 followers back then on Twitch, but I was like I said, I was a part of the community. I did a few things for Nexon, that was the publisher.
Yeah.
And they did some cool stuff for me. I actually got to go to the Nexon headquarters in California back in, that was 4 years ago. About 4.5 years ago. But yeah, I was really active in that. But what I'm doing now with Tekken, this is what's really allowing my Twitch channel to keep growing.
Amen to that. And growing, it has. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a Twitch chat so lively. Like from beginning to end, your chat is just always popping off, and that's why that's honestly, if you guys don't even like, you don't even have to like Tekken. If you just want a cool place to chill, go over to Chenzho's channel when you get a chance and drop him a follow, because everybody is just like having their own conversation, and then somehow Chenzho manages to pick through the weeds and find exactly the figure out what conversations he's having and what conversation his chat's having.
Oh yeah, I do my best to communicate with my chat. It's very important to me, and I say this all the time. I say a few things all the time. First of all, this is what I say: the chat, the community, that is my favorite part of Twitch, and even the people who don't chat are important. I say this too, that the lurkers are indeed the backbone of Twitch.
Oh, for
I really
sure.
believe that. I really, really believe that. But it's just always a good time. I always look forward to broadcasting. I always look forward to seeing my regulars. I always look forward to welcoming new people. And I don't know. I don't really want to speak in a way that makes it sound like I'm trying to flatter myself, but I think I do a pretty good job of focusing both on the game and on the chat. I'm able to, share my attention between both pretty well. A lot of people
Stop being so modest. This podcast is specifically to fluff your ego and for people to like ask you questions and stuff.
Sure. No, I appreciate it, dude. I just don't want to.
This is your
I
podcast.
appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, I love hanging out with my people. I love hanging out with the Twitch community, and I love video games. I've been a fan of games for my whole life, as long as I can remember, like I said, and I've been a fan of this franchise, Tekken, since I was a little kid, since back in the 90s. And look what's happening. I'm kind of in shock, actually. I'm kind of baffled at how quickly things have taken off. People have told me that they haven't really seen a Twitch channel grow and come together like this before. It's something really unusual, but I'm having a good time, so I don't want to stop.
Amen to that. Yeah, we cheated a little bit and had a little bit of a chat, because you guys have Chenzho all to yourself while I'm working and stuff. So I don't get to talk to this guy that much. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna steal him before we actually go live. It's one of the things we actually talked about a little bit before going live, is how his channel is a little bit different from a lot of like bigger quote unquote Tekken streamers, because I'd put it this way: for bigger Tekken channels, you basically got two kinds of people. You've got the personality type streamer, where it don't really matter what game they're playing. They could literally be playing Honey Pop on stream, and all it would be before they get banned for playing Honey Pop on stream is people just hanging out for that person, for their personality, and just chatting and shooting the shit with them. And then you've got the super sweaty tryhards that are like, I'm Tekken God Prime, fuck anything you have to say, every combo you post in chat is wrong, here's all the frame data for every character in existence from every Tekken game of all time. You take the best parts of both of those types, in my opinion, and have found the parts that work best for you, and just put together a show. It's not I won't even call it a stream. It is a show where we have a genuine guy who wants to give advice, who wants people to grow on Tekken, because that's the other thing. Some people I've seen that are like incredibly proficient at the game are just like, dude, just watch me play Tekken. I don't want to help you. Go away.
Yeah, and that's something I want to get into too. I mean, I have, for those of you who are familiar with Twitch, I have the backseat gaming tag enabled on my channel, because I actually like to get advice from people in the chat. I like when people say, hey, you're using this combo, try this one, it could do one more damage, or better wall carry, anything. I've learned a lot from the people in my chat, and I think it would be better if more people were more receptive to advice from others, because some, like you said, some people are so set in their ways and they think, oh, just because I have this high rank, it must mean that I know better than everyone else. No, that's the thing. When you approach or reach the highest ranks in this game, that's when you start to realize how little you actually know about Tekken.
Oh yeah.
I think there's a there's a modesty that you need to adopt, I believe. What do they say? The quote goes like this, right? The master is the eternal student,
Yep.
right? And as cliche as it may sound, it's true, because every single one of us is still learning more and more about this game, about any game, really. I mean, there's no skill ceiling in Tekken. There's always something you could be doing better. There's always something that you can know more about, and that's something that I try to that's the sort of attitude I try to promote with my audience. I really say, listen, I mean, nobody knows it all. Nobody has it all figured out. There's no such thing as a perfect player, but we could all help each other to get closer and closer to being the best Tekken player versions of ourselves. I think that's very important.
Yeah, and to kind of segue off of that, I mean, so streaming has definitely helped you help a lot of people get better at Tekken. Now, would you say in the same vein, you streaming Tekken on Twitch has influenced or changed your interactions with people in in your day-to-day life?
Well, yeah, you know why? Because I've been, well, not because of the virus, but I've been pretty much stuck at home for the past 2 years because of my condition, and we could get into that a bit later. But I mean, not just because this gives me a way to really interact with people and befriend people. Um, has it changed how I interact with people? I mean, I don't know. I'm spending a lot of time on here. I hope that people in my real life don't think that I'm neglecting them, because I've been spending a lot of time on Twitch. I broadcast pretty much every single day. I'll take a break here and there, but I yeah, this right now, this is my main form of social interaction, which is good for me because I have a hard time leaving the house.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, aside from something we're gonna touch on later, I mean, the whole quarantine business has certainly limited a lot of ways that we can socially interact, and I feel like that's one of the things that Twitch is kind of good for, is you don't really like my cousin. I set her up with a Twitch stream. Nothing crazy or nothing. Literally, like, not even any graphics or notifications or anything. She was like, I just kind of want to hang out with people. And I was like, well, here you go. Here's your Twitch page. Have fun.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I mean, I'm communicating with people really from around, not just around the country, around the world. It's pretty fascinating, and I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, it's one thing I've always liked about Twitch is you could be when we talk to chat, it's just a name on a screen, and we're like, oh, okay. But if you actually like start getting into the weeds with people, you find out that people are from all over the place, and well, for most time, I'm just like, why the are you still awake? And for the other half of you, why the are you spending your precious time here? That's usually my question. But that kind of comes from a place of like you said earlier, it's like it kind of takes you back a bit when you realize like how many people show up to your channel that are regulars that you build a relationship with of some sort. It's a crazy kind of parasocial paradox, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many people who I've really become close with on here. Reliable people, very friendly people, very warm-hearted people. And that's really part of why I feel the drive to keep doing this, is because I've experienced so much warmth from people on here. It's something that I can look forward to every day. And it's
Hey, that's one of
something.
the great things about the Tekken community is like while a lot of people get like sweaty in the game and super try hard, a lot of salt gets thrown around. Especially with like people that especially with Tekken content creators I've seen that don't play with viewers like ever, and they hop into ranked and people just watch that person just jam ranked all day. There's a lot of salt. But I find that like for people like yourself or me with Tekken Tuesday, when you actually like bring a lot of your community into the content and make them basically just a part of the show, which is another thing I really like about your channel, is it never really feels like it's you and then your chat. It's always we're all just kind of chilling, and this guy just happens to have a camera pointed at him.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. And I do play a lot with my viewers. I do, like you said, I communicate a lot with my viewers, and they're just always cheer me on. And something really important too about the way I approach the game is I encourage people to, like I was talking about before, you have to approach the game with a sense of humility. Like I said, nobody knows it all. There's no such thing as a perfect Tekken player. There's a lot you can learn not only from your friends, but from your opponents. I think it's actually a very important thing to be able to recognize when you are being outplayed, when your opponent is doing something that's really working against you. Because if you can't detect and analyze those things and learn ways to overcome them, you're not going to get better at the game. You have to give credit where credit is due. Even if your opponent is beating you over and over, you have to be willing to say, wow, this guy, this person is doing something, that's really working against me. I need to figure out a way to not get hit by that again. So yeah, that's something I really try to encourage in my channel, that sense of modesty, that sense of always wanting to learn more, even if that's the result of you losing. Because that's the thing. I say, when you win, you don't really learn as much as you do when you lose. There's more opportunity to learn when you lose, I think.
Oh yeah, some of my crew in chat will definitely attest to that, because for the first bit of Tekken Tuesday, it was basically me going 0-2 drop every tournament, and then I said, you know what? I'm just gonna start throwing crazy shit out there, like hop kicks at the start of the round, any unsafe move I can think of. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna see what I can get away with. I'm just gonna be as degenerate as possible in the match and see what I get punished on and what I don't.
And you know what? I actually encourage that to an extent. It's actually, it's a good thing sometimes to test what your opponent is ready for. Say, okay, maybe I could try something really risky right here. It might pay off. It might cost me the match, but whatever, let's just have fun. Especially when you host Tekken Tuesdays, which I've been a part of quite a few times. I think that it's fun, especially when you know people, especially when it's your crew, when it's your friends who you're playing with, and you can expect what they like to do. You know their habits to an extent.
Oh yeah.
So you could play around that.
I'd certainly hope so after fighting against the same crew of people for like almost a year and a half now.
Mm-hmm.
Occasionally somebody will surprise us like, oh hey, I got a new character, and then I look back in the VODs and I'm like, actually, not new. You played that character for like 3 months straight last year.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, some people can be very unpredictable. Some people, I mean, like you said before, like I said before, I play just one character. I've been playing only King in Tekken 7 for the past, 3 years and 3 months since the game launched on Steam, and I never get bored. I'm more than happy to just focus on my one favorite character. Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
King's mile-long moveset kind of helps with that too.
Oh yeah, I think he and Lei have the 2 longest move lists in the game, especially if you count all the chain throws. But this
guy's just like a fucking encyclopedia for every single one of them. I shit you not. Chad will throw out a King move, and Chenzho, without skipping a beat in his match, just spurts out the input, and I'm like, what?
For most of them, I can.
And then he goes a step further, and he's like, oh yeah, and it's this amount of frames on block, this amount of frames after, and you could get this launcher or do this afterwards, and I'm like, okay, I can understand for like his bread and butter stuff, but the whole moveset.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope that I have a certain amount of knowledge after playing for so long.
But the
But
whole moveset.
I mean, you have
No,
to. You have to know
I
your
mean,
character.
especially at the high level that you play. Not to put him on the spot or anything, but Chenzho has gone toe to toe with some of the higher caliber Tekken players. Chenzho, would you care to enlighten us as to some of the people you've recently played with?
Yeah, and this is what I consider to be my best moment in my entire Tekken career. And this only happened last month at the beginning of the month in October. If you're a fan of Tekken, especially over the past few years, and especially if you're an American, you've got to be familiar with Little Majin. He is my personal inspiration for playing King. He is, I consider him to be the best King player out there. I mean, he's absolutely the most influential King player, but I was able to do pretty well against him in a first to 10 only a few weeks ago. And I mean, I'll just cut to the chase. I was able to win against him.
I was gonna say
And
you
yeah,
the suspense is killing me.
yeah. I did beat him. I did beat him in the first to 10. Now, there's some things I got to put out there. Perhaps we could say he was a little bit rusty being out of practice for so many months because he doesn't like to play in online events. And, as we've all been experiencing, there are no real offline events to go to right now. There haven't been for quite some time, but it was just such a surreal moment to go against this person who has inspired me for the past few years, and then to actually be able to not only go toe to toe with them, but to actually defeat them. In the end, it was very surreal, very very surreal, but it felt good. And Little Majin, I think that he's also very he approaches the game with that humble attitude.
Oh hell yeah!
He's
He was in there talking with us, and like I just like said a couple things to him, and I was like, oh, he's probably just like, yeah, I'm just waiting for my next match against this guy because this guy's good, and I just want to try to beat him up again. But he was in there like shooting the shit with all of us, like he was just one of us fucking green ranks. And
yeah,
I was
no,
like,
he
hell
he
yeah!
he hangs
But Majin,
out.
if you somehow ever see this video, you are fucking awesome.
He is, and both. And I have to actually give credit too because I got in touch with Little Majin through his brother, his older brother, who happened to be named Big Majin. I ran into him a few times in quick match, and he's a Lars player, and we added each other as friends on Steam. And he messaged me afterwards and said, "Hey, you know what? Your king is pretty special. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and put your name in my brother's ear." I was like, "Oh, okay, that's something I could look forward to in the future, perhaps." But lo and behold, literally 2 days later, I received the Steam invite from Little Majin himself, and that's when we played the first to 10. So I have to give big appreciation to both Big Majin and Little Majin. They're just stand-up guys, class acts. They're men of their word, and they are people who really inspire me in this community. Those are the types of players who I want to become more like, because they don't see themselves as above everyone else. They don't trash talk anybody, and when they say that they're going to do something, they do it. And they're just kind-hearted people, and they're so talented at the game too. I'm just yeah.
That's always nice to see. As somebody that doesn't think their shit doesn't stink.
Yeah, no, and that's he literally said it during the set with him, because I rewatched the replay from both his perspective and my perspective quite a few times because I was so happy with it afterwards. But he
I'd be
said,
too
like,
if I beat Lil Mach.
yeah, but he said, like, he Little Majin said that he is going to give credit where credit's due, and he's gonna upload the video whether he wins or loses. And he said that he actually said that he liked the way that I played because I I approach the game in a more conservative way when I play King because, you know, with King, a lot of the damage you do with him is based on chance. It's based on your opponent's likelihood and ability to break out of your throws. And sometimes you land your throws, sometimes you don't. But I try to mitigate the risk. I like to go for a lot of the reliable setups, a lot of reliable
Oh
damage.
yeah.
I don't really like to go for too many 50-50 situations. I prefer to go for the reliable stuff. And that's something that Little Majin actually commented on during the set. He literally said, "Oh, I like this guy. He goes for the reliable stuff." That's what he said. And you know,
Like most games, it's a matter of chance and risk assessment and figuring out which is the less risky option.
oh yeah.
Now, since you kind of touched on, you know, some of your fellow Tekken content creators that inspire you, is there anybody in your, you know, in your IRL, you know, outside of Twitch life that definitely inspires you here on the platform?
Oh, outside of Twitch, definitely my dad and my girlfriend have been very supportive and very patient with what I'm doing. And I think outside of Twitch, my dad is actually the one who hangs out in my channel the most.
I didn't
And
even know that.
he
That's awesome.
yeah, I mean, I don't want to, you know, I'm not going to reveal who he is or say
That's
what his
cool.
username is, but he's always lurking and he's no, it's a very good thing when you have someone in your immediate family who actually understands and appreciates what you're doing on this platform. I hope that every other aspiring Twitch broadcaster can have someone like that in their life who you know, really supports them and wants to see them succeed. I think that's so important.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I think a lot of people outside of the platform don't really quite understand it. But it's nice to see, you know, somebody that actually has like a family member or a friend that like popped in and now kind of like maybe doesn't get it entirely, but is like, okay, I see what you're doing at least now, so I'm not just like, oh,
Yeah, yeah.
he's twitching over here.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I have several in you know, real life friends who are also very supportive of the channel, but no one really, no one pops in and hangs out as much as my dad does. So that's, I think that's a really special thing.
Dad, if you're watching, hell yeah, keep it up.
Yeah, it's a
So
good thing.
So prior to, you know, the whole lockdown situation and you starting on Twitch and stuff, what was Chenzo up to prior to all this?
This is something that I think is very important to talk about. And I'm not going to try to make it sound like it's happier than it actually is. I'm going to tell the truth. I've been in pretty rough shape. Long story short, I was disemboweled last year. I had my large intestine in August of last year. Um, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, a very severe case of ulcerative colitis last year in January of 2019. And I was on so many medications. I spent over, I would say about over 100 days last year in the hospital, in several hospitals. I would say
Jeez,
a
I don't
good
even like
third.
2 hours in the hospital.
Yeah, no, it was it it was an experience. It changed me. It changed me. I would like to say that it changed me for the better mentally, but I don't know if I could say that yet. But yeah, they tried so many different medications and treatments to try to help me. I was on so many different types of steroids and stuff because what ulcerative colitis is, it is a disease. It's an autoimmune disorder uh, in which your own immune system attacks your own large intestine, your own colon, and there was nothing they could do. There's no cure for ulcerative colitis. What they could do is they could administer certain medications that can uh, somewhat weaken your own immune system and get it to stop attacking your own body. But I wasn't so lucky. it got to the point where the surgeons told me, listen, you have no choice. It's either you get the surgery, you have the colon removed, or, you know, you know what I'm about to say. I'm not
Yeah.
going to say it, but I had no choice. And I had 3 surgeries last year. The first one was when they actually removed the colon, and I actually lived with a colostomy bag after that for a few months, which I hated. I hated it. It was so inconvenient. I felt disgusted by it the whole time. Then the second surgery was in October, and during that they used a part of my small intestine to construct what is called a J pouch. And what that is they create an artificial reservoir out of a section of your small intestine. What they do is they kind of take it and twist it together like a hose. Picture a hose being, you know, twisted together like that, and then they cut a hole in the bottom, and they connected that to my rear. But I still had the colostomy bag after that because they need time to allow the J pouch to heal
Right.
and
That's
become a little bit more.
actually medical practice is. How do you guys come up with this shit? If any
Yeah.
doctors watch this podcast, how the fuck do you guys come up with this?
Yeah, no, and I was lucky that they were able to do that for me because I hated the colostomy bag so much. I hated it. So then they gave me another 2 months to let the J pouch heal, get situated in my body. Then in December of last year, of 2019, I had the final surgery where they removed the portion of my small intestine that was sticking out of my abdomen that was connected to the colostomy bag. They removed that, and then they allowed the J pouch to actually start working, and they allowed me to really to sit down and use the restroom like a biologically typical person would, sitting down on the toilet. I can go to the bathroom. You know, it's not exactly the same as it was. I wouldn't wish this on anybody because I'm still going to the bathroom many times a day, and that's something that I actually have in my Twitch channel. I have an alert that I could pop up, and my moderators can pop up whenever I have to go, that kind of explains my situation with a YouTube video that, briefly explains the procedures that were done to me. So yeah, I had 3 surgeries last year, and I have been still trying to adapt to all of this for quite some time.
Yeah, I imagine something like that is definitely not easy to get used to. I mean, thankfully, it sounds like with the J pouch, you have at least some sense of normalcy. I mean, I had a family member who had a colostomy bag, and that was the same thing. They felt disgusted, embarrassed by it all the time, and something like that at least sounds like you almost feel a little bit more normal again, like you have some sense of your humanity back.
Yeah,
albeit
I
a little bit still inconvenient, but it's better than the alternatives, I imagine.
I think so. I would call it the lesser of 2 evils. I guess that's a way to put it, because this is something that, I'm still waking up multiple times every single night to go to the bathroom. I have to get up during the middle of every stream to go to the bathroom multiple times. It's not convenient. It's not pleasant, but it's better for me than the alternative. And actually, am I allowed on this stream? Am I allowed to? I would like to show the scar. Actually, can I show that on here?
Go right ahead.
Yeah, I think this could be educational.
And as long as it's not like by your bum.
No. It's what I'm gonna show you. This is here. You could see it kind of, right?
Yeah.
Let me see if I could get the lighting correct here. So
don't let him kid you. He just wanted to show off his abs, chat.
No, dude. You know what's really bad? My BMI is actually below. It's underneath the healthy limit. I'm actually clinically underweight right now. I'm struggling to gain weight, but that's something that I'm dealing with. I actually got in touch with a dietitian for the first time just a few days ago, and it's funny because she actually also has a J pouch, so she's able to give me customized advice. But this right here is where the colostomy bag used to be, and this hole used to be pretty big. It was like this.
Yeah.
It was really big, and then it, gradually shrunk over time. and now it's just a scar, and it's still painful. It still bothers me, but I'm in a better place than I was.
Yeah, we actually had
In
a
some,
question in chat about your condition real quick.
yeah.
Chat wanted to know how long were you diagnosed with UC before you had to go down with the surgery?
Oh, only less than a year. I was diagnosed in January of 2019, and I had the surgery in August of 2019. So only about 8 months. But this is the thing. It I suspect that there's a genetic component to this because my mother also had ulcerative colitis, and she has a J pouch too. And many people in my family have had all sorts of digestive issues. Any illness you could think of has to do with the GI tract. I have someone, uh, you know, biologically related to me who suffers from something like that. So it
Yeah,
is what it is,
we'll
and
certainly put a link in the YouTube video for this if anybody so if you guys are not watching on Twitch, you can get some more information about it. Excuse me. What wow, that
yeah,
is
I think it's important to educate people about. And this is, and I want to link this back to the game too, because this is part of why I want to approach not only the game, but I want to approach the entire community with more of a sense of kindness and welcoming, because you don't know what someone else has gone through. You don't know what else someone else is going through currently, and you don't know what someone else may go through in the future. That's why I want to err on the side of kindness, to err on the side of patience with other people. And obviously, you can't be happy all the time. You can't
oh no.
be, yeah, you
But you
can't. But
cannot be a douchebag.
right. That's the thing. I mean, I I have been I've been really blessed by my community. And I say this all the time. I really believe that I couldn't ask for a better chat. I couldn't ask for a better audience. And everyone who's watching this, who's part of my channel already, you know who you are. And like I said, it's something that I look forward to every day. I couldn't ask for a better group of people to hang out with every day, and it's just constantly growing. And it's something I'm really grateful for. And they make me feel good about myself, and I hope that I can make them feel good about themselves too. It's just,
Is there anybody in particular you wanna give a shout out to that might maybe is like been in your channel since like day zero or
oh, I have quite a few people like that. You know what? I'm kind of reluctant to start naming names because I don't want anyone to feel left out if I forget someone's name,
fair
but
enough?
they know who they are, and I know who they are. And I already see some names in the chat right now, people who've been with me for quite some time and who are just always there for me, people who I know I can count on, and people who are always rooting me on. It's a very special thing, despite all of this nonsense that I've been through over the past few years. This is something, this is a good thing. This is a positive thing that I have to look forward to and to rely on every day. It's something very special.
Oh, absolutely. Now, would you say that, either when you were starting out or still currently, is there anything that you particularly dislike about streaming, like the actual act of streaming itself, not necessarily like Twitch at large?
Anything I dislike? That's a great question. Nothing's really coming to mind. I do wish that I had more time and more capability to play with every single one of the people in my chat.
Oh,
I feel
Chenzho,
bad when I have to.
if you took time to play with every single person that wanted to jam a game, one, you'd never do death matches, you'd never do first to
Yeah,
tens, or you would just never sleep.
yeah, that's just the reality of it. It's just something that can't be done, unfortunately. But there
I
are people
definitely
who,
think you do a great job at making everybody feel like they're not only acknowledged but like a part of the community, even if they're not playing a game with you. Because yeah, I swear to God, the first thing I ever hear out of Chenzo's mouth anytime I pop in the stream is, "Oh, okay, yeah, we'll get to a set right after this, guys," or "Oh, hey, you know what? If we don't get to a game today, we'll do it tomorrow." I swear, if I could count The amount of times he said something along those lines during a stream, I'd probably have to take my socks off at the very least. I'd need at least like 3 toes.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I want to be as accommodating as possible because here's the thing. This is the way I look at it. Everyone in my channel, everyone in my chat, they could be anywhere else on the entire website of Twitch. They could be anywhere else on the entire internet if they want to, but they're choosing to be in there and spending time with me. So I want them to know how much I appreciate them. I
Oh,
want
yeah.
them to know how much I value their presence and how much I value their support. And the least I could do is to play some games with them, but I've had some really, really ultra supportive people who who I haven't even played with, but they're just always there for me. It's a really, really special and wonderful thing. But
I'm gonna just flex real quick and say I'm one of the few people that has the Chenzho sphere.
oh, you do, yeah, yeah.
For
I
those of you
think
that don't know, it's one of his emotes of his adorable and amazing and super majestic puppers.
Would you put one in the chat? You have it.
I can.
You could do it, right? I could do it too. But you can. I'll let you do it.
Oh. Go away.
It's okay if it ran out. I could always.
Oh no! It definitely did. I just subbed like 2
Yeah,
days
you
ago.
did. You did. That's the thing too. I never want anyone to feel pressured. Like that's the thing.
Bam.
I don't want nice. I don't want people to ever feel like they need to go out of their way to support me. Anything, monetarily that's absolutely not required. I'm in an okay place right now. I'm not struggling myself. I mean, I do wish that I was in less pain. I do wish that I was not so inconvenienced by my condition, but
Oh yeah,
I mean,
but
obviously,
us throwing bits at the screen don't really fix that. But
no, but it to me that shows it shows to me that what I'm doing is meaningful to other people, and that's really what I'm happy about. I'm happy to know that what I'm doing is valued by other people.
oh,
Because right
absolutely.
now, I mean, I haven't been at my real job in over a year and a half, actually, and
So what were you doing before?
I was in property management,
Oh,
not
okay.
real estate, but it was a family business. We would, we manage. I myself, I was in charge of a few self storage facilities, and it wasn't exactly my dream job, but it paid the bills. But it was.
It definitely sounds like that's a. I mean, you're a very methodical, very like your brain is definitely put together. I will say that much. It never
I
really
hope so.
seems like it never really seems like you stumble over either time or task management at all. So something like that just definitely kind of really strikes me as definitely something that you would personally do, some form of management.
Yeah. I was, I wasn't bad at it, but it wasn't truly where my heart was. So that's why with this, who knows if I could keep taking what I'm doing on Twitch farther and farther, maybe this could be an ideal solution for me, something that I could do at home, something that doesn't restrict me in terms of, I could get up and go to the bathroom
Yeah, you're your
during a
own boss.
stream.
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah. So, I'm hoping that I could continue to grow what I'm doing on here because so far it's been enjoyable and it's been fun, it's been rewarding. So, I want to see how far I could take this. If I'm enjoying it, why not? I don't want to quit. I want to keep going. I'm
Oh, hell
enjoying
yeah.
it too much.
I mean, why would you? I mean, if we're gonna not mince our words here, you're getting paid to play Tekken. Who the fuck
Yeah.
wouldn't want that?
That's really it, and
Play
it's
Tekken
something.
and hang out
And
with other people that want to play Tekken. Like,
yeah,
sounds
and I
great to
think
me.
that's part of why my father is pretty supportive of it because you know, as I said, I've been playing video games for my entire life, and it's really such a big part of who I am. It's what I want, and now that I could say like, listen, this could turn into something. This is like you said, I'm being paid to play video games, so I want to keep going with it, see how big I could take this. I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that makes content creation, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Twitch or elsewhere, I think one of the things that makes content creation as rewarding and makes the whatever profit margins you do make in content creation all the more like flattering, I guess you could say, is because you are directly being rewarded for your own creativity, your own personality, your own talents. And it's not, hey, I punched my time card, I'm going to go do a list of tasks like we're playing Among Us, and then I'm going to go home. Kind of
Yeah, I
situation.
mean, we can, you know, every broadcaster has the opportunity to design what they're doing from the ground up. You could run your stream any way you want. And I think this is a good opportunity to give some advice to other up and coming broadcasters. I think it's very, very important for a broadcaster. Well, one, I think it's extremely important to really do your best to pay attention to your chat, pay attention to your community. And you want your community to feel welcome. Like I said, you want them to know how much you appreciate and value their presence in your channel. Because like I said, they could choose to be anywhere else in the entire internet, but they're choosing to spend time with you. You want them to know how much you value them. And I do believe that it's important to have certain aspects of yourself or your presentation or your channel, something that makes you stand out compared to your peers in whatever game you're playing, whatever community you're in. You want to have some unique aspects about yourself that make you stand out. I think that's really important. And what people have told me, the feedback I've gotten is that they love how much I communicate with the chat and how much time I want to spend with my community and how devoted I am to all this, because I've only taken over the past 3 months, and because I only started streaming Tekken on August 8th of this year. August 8th, 2020 was the first day that I started streaming Tekken on Twitch, and things have I'm actually, like I said, I'm pretty confounded at how quickly things have grown. And I can't really explain how that happened. I must be doing some things properly for things to be working out the way
Oh,
that
of
they
course,
are.
absolutely.
Yeah, but
I mean, you don't get where you're at by doing things wrong. That's for sure.
yeah, no, I'm very I thought that I was gonna, I thought this was gonna be something I could do just for fun once in a while. Oh, I'll stream in front of 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, I'll talk to the chat a little bit, but I don't know, even after just a few months, I'm having all these new people come in. I'm playing with professional players, like you said, and I'm very proud and humbled and honored that I have this opportunity. I think it's a great thing. And
And
I'm
speaking of
just
these
so
awesome people that support
yeah.
you, we do have a nice little slew of questions that we haven't touched on already because I threw some of your community's questions in during the interview. But so as far as so you fought both Majins, which is definitely an accomplishment, and even beaten them, which is insane for me to even fathom. But I was there, I watched it, I saw it happen. It was real. If you don't believe me, there's YouTube videos I'll link below for you
Yeah,
guys
we
to
should
see
link
it.
that. It'd be cool.
Who else in the Tekken community would be a dream for you to fight?
That's a really good question. You know, I would like to see how I would do against Anakin. I think that he's probably considered the best American player right now. He has the most amount and the greatest accolades in terms of tournament results. I would like to play against him one day. I did play against Joey Fury a few times in online tournaments. I'd like to see how I could do against him. But the thing is this, and I mean, I know a lot of my shortcomings in the game. I know where my weak spot. I know where my weak spots are to a degree. I do need to improve in many areas before I could really be a truly top level contender. But as of right now, I'm happy to be more of a content creator. I'm happier being a content creator over being a competitor, I'd say, even though I could, if I really brushed up and if I really buckled down and focused on the things that I need to improve, I believe that I could get to that place, but I'm happy with what I'm doing right now. And of course, I would like to play against a lot of my favorite Korean and Asian players. I would love to play against JDCR.
I was gonna say, I want to see you fight JDCR. That's what I want to
Yeah,
see.
I always say that he is one of my favorite, if not my very, very favorite Tekken player, because when I was in the hospital last year, I had no console, I had no computer in there with me, so I would just watch Tekken videos and streams on my phone all day long, and I was so fascinated by
Anybody else just picture
JDCR.
Chenzho there with like a pen or something, just doing like KBD inputs?
Well, I actually, it's funny. I actually play with a. Here, I'll show you. I play with the PlayStation pad. I'm not a stick player. I'm a
Bro,
pad
that's
player.
the other reason why I love you. Pad for
Yeah.
life.
I'm a pad player myself. I do like it better because, like I said, I've been playing all these Tekken games since I was a little kid on the PlayStation. Now, back then, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just pressing buttons. It wasn't until Tekken 7 when I really started to understand how the game's supposed to work in terms of frames, in terms of movement, in terms of punishment, in terms of spacing. I only started to understand how to really become better at this game in the series in Tekken 7. I didn't know what I was doing, even though I had fun playing these games as a kid. I didn't know what I was doing, but I'm getting better all the time in Tekken 7. But yeah, I would just watch Tekken videos in the hospital on my phone over and over, and I really like JDCR and his Armor King. And he's the character in the game who's the most similar to King.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's pretty obvious, but yeah, there's just something so precise and something.
Yeah, can somebody clip that and just push it over to JDCR so we can make this happen?
It could, especially now with the new netcode. You never know.
Oh yeah.
You might not even have to travel, but yeah.
Oh my god. So like, Tekken Tuesday has always been one of those things where like we tried, like it's been a majority of the way inclusive, but we have like with the time zone, like with the time slot that I usually stream in, we get a lot of either European or otherwise people rolling through, and they're like, oh well, we'd play, but the only people that we have a good connection on is like maybe somebody on the East Coast. So it's like, all right, if they match up against me or a couple of the others, but we because I stream so late, there's a lot of people on the West Coast, and they have absolutely shite connection if they're in the UK or Germany or otherwise. But I think this past Tuesday was the only time, literally not a single match did somebody bitch about lag, and it was great. It was amazing.
Yeah, I'm
Hawaii.
Pretty impressed. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with the changes for this season so far. I do think that, well, like you just said, the net code improvements are that we needed that for a long time, and so far it's been pretty good.
We still don't have online Tekken bowling multiplayer. I don't understand how or why. Who decided it just didn't need it? But you know what? I'm just gonna resolve to maybe Tekken 11 will have it.
Right. Maybe somewhere down the line in the series. Give it another 10 years. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I do think that there still needs to be work done in terms of overall balance between the characters. Overall, they took this new season past week, they took it in a better direction, I'd say. And I wouldn't be surprised if if they announce that they'll be releasing more tweaks, more balance updates in the next coming weeks. That wouldn't shock me in the slightest because they've done that several times already.
Yeah, it might be too little too late for Tekken 7, but we also got to remember with an ongoing franchise like this, anything, any update, any change that we get, even if it's 5 years in the future from the game's release or anything like that, is definitely supposed to be or should be a welcome update, because it just opens the door for Tekken 8 and future installments of the franchise. Because it's hey, we fucked up for a long time and we fixed it. So now when we do Tekken 8, 9, and 10, we're gonna try not to fuck up on launch.
Yeah, I hope that that's the case.
Like me trying to do Dragunov combos. For the life of me, I'll launch somebody and then I'm just like, what do I do now?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we could all relate. Because I actually did attempt to play Armor King a little bit last year. And I would always just try to input regular King's moves and combos. I would get myself...
Don't work like that, Chenzho.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I mean, I think that playing only one character, that's something that I would recommend to new players, is to, if you're going to play in ranked, if you're going to play competitively, I personally recommend to focus on just one character so you don't confuse yourself, so you don't mix yourself up. I mean, maybe that's just the way that my mind works. I feel more comfortable just focusing on my one favorite character, my one reliable character who I've loved for all these years. I mean, you could even see behind me, I have King's mask on my nostalgia shelf in the corner back there. You could see it if you zoom in. Yeah. But that's I think you're going to segue into this. Things that I would recommend for new players, or even things I would recommend for the Tekken developers themselves. I do hope that for the next Tekken, they include a better tutorial system, or any tutorial system, because there isn't really one in Tekken 7. If you don't count the single player campaign, which teaches you a little bit, there's so much to learn about this game. And we as a community, we rely on each other. We rely on the big content creators to come out with all these videos about new techniques that they could use, combo videos, optimizations, things like that. We rely on each other. We don't rely on Bandai Namco. But I think I would like to see some sort of tutorial system added to Tekken 8 that would really help the new players learn how to approach the game the right way and to not develop bad habits from the beginning. I think that's very important.
Definitely wise words indeed. Now, for those of you that don't know, Chenzho is just a veritable Tekken Swiss Army knife, because not only is he good at the game, not only can he interact with his chat like no other, but this motherfucker can commentate as well. Dear God. So the first time I've ever seen him commentate was an all Yoshimitsu tournament, which, for those of you that don't know, Yoshimitsu's kind of like a pet pick character for me. I absolutely love it. So to watch somebody that is energetic and passionate about Yoshimitsu, but also doesn't fucking play Yoshimitsu, was awesome.
Let me tell you, I'm really, really glad you brought that up, because first things first, even though I am a King player, Yoshimitsu is literally my favorite character in the game to play against. Even if I lose, I have so much fun playing against Yoshimitsu. I don't know why, it just clicks with me. I just enjoy it. I love to play against Yoshimitsu. I love watching Yoshimitsus play against each other. I think he's also a cool character. I think there's a mutual camaraderie, a mutual rapport, a mutual respect between King players and Yoshimitsu players that I've noticed. I know a lot of Yoshimitsu mains who have secondary King as their other character, you know?
Yeah, I feel like that might be because both characters just have this crazy wild moveset.
That could be part of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Looks like your video froze, Pip.
Yeah, my definitely. Hello. Boop, boop.
You want to restart the call or something?
Fuck it. We'll just you guys can just stare at my frozen face. We're good.
Oh God.
But yeah, I definitely think it's because, much like you were saying earlier, how your King is definitely a more, definitely much safer and less reliant on 50-50s. Yoshimitsu's kind of like that too, where you have that very wide flexibility.
Oh yeah, I think he's who you would call a party character. You could do some really wild stuff with him, and with King you can to an extent, but not like you can with Yoshimitsu. But there, like I said, there's absolutely mutual respect
Okay, I'm back.
between.
All right.
Yeah, cool. There is indeed mutual respect, some unspoken bond between the King mains and the Yoshimitsu mains. I think it's really special. I think it's really cool. And like you said, I love to commentate not just in the all Yoshimitsu events, but I have been doing some other online tournaments and stuff with Boston Tekken, Chicago Tekken. I've been commentating with other really really professional and kind people who do a lot of good work.
Now, is there an event in particular that you kind of have your eyes locked in on, your eyes set on that you would love to commentate?
That's a good question. I would like to be more involved with more Long Island or New York events. It all depends on who wants me, I suppose. I I don't know. I really haven't commentated that many events yet, but
Because
I get
not that it's any secret to you, but I literally have gotten like 40 DMs a week since you and I started like chatting and shooting the shit. Hey Pip, when are you gonna do Tekken Tuesday where Chenzho like commentates with like Shield Clock or somebody?
oh, I
Hey,
will do it.
hey Pip, when can we get Chenzho in on Tekken Tuesday? Bitches, schedules, all right? Getting two Twitch streamers to collab together is like herding cats while somebody else in the room has a laser pointer, okay? It takes effort. We're working on it, okay?
I like that metaphor. That's good. I like that.
So you guys can
But
definitely look forward to that because it's definitely something that has been mentioned many, many times. Sounds about right. Says Kyo. True facts, but definitely something that we has been in the back of my mind for a bit, and it's something that Chenzo and I have been kind of flirting around with idea-wise. So we're gonna set it up. You
oh
guys,
yeah,
as you guys that already know Tekken Tuesday, it's more of like a local event. You walk in and everybody's just shouting over each other in Discord, and it's a big rowdy mess. And that's how we like
yeah.
it. But we're gonna make
It's
something a
fun.
little
It's
bit more
casual.
formal.
But yeah, we could raise the professionalism, even if it's just temporary. I think it'll
Yeah.
be pretty interesting. I think it'll be cool.
Yeah, I definitely think it'd be a good time. So we'll definitely set that up. But we are coming up on time. Chenzo is a busy man with stuff to do, people to see, and more Tekken God Prime action to be had. But Chenzo, I would love to open the floor for you right now. Why don't you tell everybody who's watching at home, both on YouTube and Twitch, where we can find you, when we can find you, and what we can find you doing?
Oh yeah, well, I stream at twitch.tv/Chenzo, and make sure that you don't misspell my name. I had to add the second H in the name because, you know, the other spelling was already taken here on Twitch and on Steam. I wanted to differentiate myself a little bit too, you know. There are so many people who
Yeah, it's also
don't.
right there and right over yonder for you fuckers that can read.
Yeah, yeah, and I meant it when I say it. I stream essentially every single day. Usually I start at around anytime between noon and 2 p.m. Eastern time, because I am in New York. But there are many times you catch me late at night. Tonight will probably be a later stream for me. And I stream every day. Find me also on. I have a YouTube channel, but it's not really set up yet. Still in the works. I will be developing that in the next few weeks. And I feel like I've been procrastinating a little bit with that, but I'm going to be putting some very interesting things up on there soon. And yeah, I'm pretty much based on Twitch. And you can also find me on Twitter at RealChenzo. May I put a link to that in
Yeah,
the.
go right ahead.
I'll just put that right in your chat.
For you guys watching later on YouTube, all of Chenzo's social media will be down below in the description. So be sure to go give him some love.
Yeah, I'll put it in your Discord too, just so you have it. But yeah, I'm primarily based on Twitch. I'm a Twitch broadcaster, and I'm pretty consistent, pretty reliable. I think, like I said, over the past 3 months, I think I've only taken maybe 6 or 7 days off over the past 3 months. I mean it when I say I try to stream every single day because, like I said, this is my escape. This is what I do to put my mind in a better place, to interact with some of the friendliest people who I've ever come across my entire life. And it's just a very, very warm and special thing for me, and I don't want to stop anytime soon. It's gonna keep getting better and better, I think. And if you're interested in this sort of thing, I'd love to have you along for the ride. People have come into my chat and they've said, "Wow, they've said that they felt so welcomed, even just in the first 5 minutes. They feel like they've been a friend of mine for 5 years." And when I hear things like that, I'm happy. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel proud, because that's the type of environment, that's the type of atmosphere that I'm trying to cultivate. I want to promote more positivity, more constructiveness, more friendliness, not just in Tekken, but I guess in the fighting game community. I think that we could all use a bit more of that warmth. That's something that I think is really important. And that's something that I'm trying to promote on here. And so far, it seems like it's been going pretty well.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I certainly would have to agree with you on the non-douchebaggery, but definitely all the degeneracy. Chenzho, thank you so much for coming on my podcast.
Hey, thank you for having me, Pip. I appreciate it.
For those of you watching at home right now on Twitch, I greatly appreciate your time. As we all know, time is definitely something we have more of on our hands, but is definitely something that we can't get back once we spend it. So I think definitely thank you from both Chenzho and myself for watching this episode's Let's Chat. And until next time, may the gods be with you all. Skol.
Take care, everybody.